Welcome to the DraftKings Daily Trot. I'm Jason Gilbo, JGilbo11. With me is Russell Clay at Russell J. Clay. Taking a look at a 12-game slate for DraftKings tonight. Not as heavy as pitching, but there still are some options. But maybe, the better the pitching, the better the hitters are, because that's how it was yesterday.
What do they say? Something the sweeter the juice.
Man, you're out of it.
All right, I don't know what we're talking about, but we're definitely going to get into this slate, and it's actually not bad. There's not quite as many aces as yesterday, but I think there are some good matchups to exploit.
Yeah, definitely. And Giants and Phillies, first one here, Johnny Cueto versus Aaron Nola. The Giants' prices, have started to come down and be pretty steady of late, and I like it now that they're all healthy. I like the lefties here against Nola. Nola's been pretty average against left-handers in his career. So I don't really mind these guys. And obviously, given the price tags of Pence and Posey, I think they're reasonable options as well.
Yeah, I think that front four is definitely in play. You can definitely take a look at Brandon Belt, Brandon Crawford, also in play in more of a tournament sense. But, I'm okay with paying up for Posey at 39 at catcher. I think that's pretty viable. As you mentioned, Nola's not really that strong of an arm at this stage. Obviously, he does have good stuff, but it just seems like he's in a bit of a funk right now. So I think we can target him with the front of this Giants lineup.
Yeah, I'm feeling much more comfortable with the Giants. I think after the struggles they've had of late, being fully healthy, adding Eduardo Nunez, I definitely don't mind this lineup quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So, as far as
on the Phillies side, Odubel Herrera 4,500, tough. Get your FanDuel shares in because he's really good price there, 29. So we're not going to be diving into that against Cueto, but the rest of the lineup here, I'm just not seeing really a Phillies day.
No, Phillies, still a bottom five offense. I'm not expecting another double-digit run outburst from them. It's definitely for me just kind of a fade.
Right.
Rangers and Orioles here. Kevin Gausman versus Cole Hamels. Some of these Orioles price tags are pretty intriguing. I know they're cheap, and obviously Hamels is still above average lefty. But you also got to think, there still is some home run potential for some of those right-handed bats, especially in that ballpark. So I don't mind taking shots at prices like a Steve Pearce at 3.4 or a Trumbo at 3.7. Definitely some intriguing GPP options there.
Yeah, absolutely some intriguing GPP options. As you mentioned, the prices are really good. But at the same time, it is a pretty tough matchup. So I think we'll limit that to tournaments, but I do like the upside there.
Yeah, definitely. Just a tournament play. And as far as the Rangers go, I'm not really in love with the prices. Lucroy is a little bit overpriced for me here at 4.5. And Goslin's been pretty tough on lefties. You go back to last year, just a 276 WOBA allowed, 0.74 home runs per 9. So he hasn't really given up a ton. And the Rangers are a price tags I just don't really feel comfortable using.
I think I'm okay with the Desmond at 45. It is a pay up, but I think it is worth it just based on how he's hit righties this year. But overall, yeah, I tend to agree. I don't like this lineup as much as I want to right now because it is loaded now.
Yeah, certainly. It's such a deep lineup, 1 through 7, 1 through 8. There's always some potential there. So I think in due time we'll be getting to them as a full stack potential, but definitely not as many one-offs as I expected from really the first two games here.
Especially Mazzara, because I bet he's going to jump down to the 7th or 8th spot now, just kind of based on how the lineup's constructed. So I'm going to be having fun with that in the next few days, unless just something really annoying happens. But I'm going to have fun with that.
Yeah, definitely. Mets and Yankees here, Steven Matz versus Chad Green. And this is kind of a similar thing where I like the Mets bats in this matchup against Green in this ballpark, friendly porch out in right field. The Jay Bruce price tag is obviously killer, 5.2, but I think in a Mets stack, he's certainly playable. I still think he's playable even as a one-off expensive outfielder.
Yeah, 52, but worth it, absolutely. Cash game viable for me. But at the same time, I think we look at a Neil Walker, a Granderson, certainly in stacking play today. And if you kind of use some of the cheaper Mets with a Bruce, I think it kind of averages things out.
Yeah, certainly, and even Cespedes, I mean, their best hitter, just
Hmm.
4K. I mean, that's not a bad. The stack really isn't that bad, even with the high price Bruce in there.
No, it's not. Because I mean, usually, I mean, when you talk about the Red Sox or something, it's not just one guy at 5'2", or the Astros. It's like three guys in the fives. So this is a nice little break here for us. So I think you can combine those guys, and it really averages out to like mid to low fours. So I'm okay with
Certainly,
that.
yeah, I think it's a good stack to do 1 through 4 there. You can pair it up with the Mats. You can pair it up with another high price pitcher. It's a pretty good stack to build in with a good pitcher there.
Hmm. Definitely.
As far as the Yankees go, they're cheap, but they're not something I'm really looking to use. This matchup doesn't really have a lot of appeal for me against Mats, who has been solid against right-handed bats, just a 293 WOBA allowed. And lefties, obviously the matchup there isn't favorable for them. So I'm okay with just kind of fading the Yankees altogether.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty easy fade with all the lefties in their lineup. I like Mats, so Mats is a potential cash game guy for me. So I'm not really looking too deep into any of these guys. I just don't like that matchup
No, me either.
for them.
White Sox and Detroit. I mean, this is kind of another one where the matchup's a little bit iffy, but I think you feel a little bit more comfortable taking some shots here. Um, I don't mind taking some Tiger shots like a Kinsler or JD Martinez. Miguel Cabrera 4.5, a little out of my range given his success against lefties this year. It hasn't been too great, but I don't mind some of the other right-handers as far as cheap one-offs go.
Yeah, I think that's the way you're playing this one offs. Obviously Vegas thinks they're going to do something against Sale, so you do like that with some of these prices, but at the same time, it is Chris Sale. He has quite high upside himself. So one offs with the cheapies, Martinez, Castellanos, and Martinez, and kind of roll with the rest of it.
Yeah, definitely. And on the other side, I mean, the White Sox not in a favorable spot against Fulmer. I like the Todd Frazier price at 3.8. I think that's an intriguing one below 4K. Fulmer, I mean, home runs wise to right-handed bats, 1.40 going back to last season. So I don't mind Frazier at 3.8, but outside of that, I'm not really taking anyone here.
Yeah, definitely.
So White Sox pretty unappealing in a pretty good spot for Fulmer.
Hmm.
So. You got the Pirates and the Braves, and this is kind of a similar situation where we're looking at the Pirates, and obviously a decent matchup there. But guys like Polanco and Marte are just quite overpriced for the production that really hasn't been there of late. I mean, Polanco had an excellent start to the season, has really trailed off. Marte very up and down. McCutchen hasn't gotten things going. I think you and I are kind of in a similar thing where we're just burned out of even taking some shots with the Pirates at this point.
Burned out, beaten, busted up, black eyes, and sadness. Yeah, that's the Pirates this year. So, anyway, I mean, I am willing to take some shots with some of the value guys like the McCutchen, Kang, and Jasos, but I don't feel comfortable paying up for Marte or Polanco.
Yeah, I don't either, especially given the fact that they're around, Coors price tags. So I'm just kind of stay away. As far as the Braves
Jace
side,
and Jaso's team cafe value over the last few weeks too, so I'm rooting for him as well.
well, Jesus, price him down at 1,400, and he's going to be a value anywhere. I mean,
Yeah,
2,400, it's cheap.
yeah, very cheap.
But it's one of those things where he's at a position where you want a lot of upside, and he just really doesn't give you that. That's the only
Right,
downside to Jason. I mean, if he had some more power, but it really hasn't been there.
right.
Braves, the Matt Kemp price tag is pretty high, 4.8. How are you feeling about your boy here?
My boy. Well, I don't know about him in general, but I do like this play. 4,800 is an overpay. I don't think many people are going to be on it, so I'm pretty in on it actually in tournaments. Not a cash game, obviously. I don't think anyone in this lineup is cash, but give me a camp at 48 in a tournament.
Yeah, certainly. There's a lot of upside against lefties, especially one of Jeff Locke's caliber. Not that we're saying the Braves are going to go off, but I think Kemp could definitely do some damage here, given his success against lefties in the past and this season alone. But I'm with you. I think outside of that, I mean, I'm not really even looking to use a Chase Darno or a Gordon Beckham. I mean, obviously they're values, but I don't know. I'm not really buying into it.
Right.
Oh.
I'm not either.
Royals and Rays, Jake Odorizzi versus Edison Volquez. And for me, it's a lot of the same situation. I like Brad Miller. I like Corey Dickerson. After that, I'm not really looking at any Rays.
No, pretty simple. I mean, Kevin Kiermaier might be up at the top there, but he doesn't necessarily intrigue me. So Miller, maybe a Dickerson, and log out.
Yeah, the Rays really aren't in a great spot. I mean, obviously with that offense, they're not particularly thrilling on most nights. And the Royals really aren't either. I mean, I like Odorizzi here. I mean, obviously the Royals prices are a little bit dropped down. Salvador Perez at 2.9 is really intriguing just because Odorizzi is a reverse splits guy. There is some home run potential for right-handers with the 1.47 home runs per nine since last year. I don't mind Perez as kind of an only shot. We saw that power last night, so I definitely don't mind him here again.
Agreed.
So
yeah, I'm with you on that.
Outside of that, meh game for offense. Yeah.
Need some more red in that matchup. Too much blue.
Twins and Indians here.
Narrative Street.
Trevor Bauer, Tyler Duffy, and
here we go.
Is Max Kepler overpriced?
There's a lot of red in this matchup. We're going to town. I don't want to talk about Max Kepler. He's hurt my feelings multiple times. I mean, as we mentioned on FanDuel, you can put it in the comments. Hank Aaron, Barry Bonds, or Chuck Knobloch. Which do you think Max Kepler is going to be? So throw that in the comments with your answer. In terms of Kepler, though, I mean, I like Bauer in theory and based on the Twins splits this year, but I mean, I don't know what I'm doing with this 2-game sample because it's really brutalizing my cash lineups here.
Yeah, you've really bent over and took it from the Twins this last few days. I mean, to put it mildly,
you're really getting after it this morning.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the Twins here, I mean, they're a bit overpriced, but there is still some upside. And once again, I mean, the Vegas lookers are going to look at the Twins and probably be off them. But I think given the fact that they scored a ton of runs off Carrasco and Salazar, I think there's obviously potential against Bauer, who is the weaker arm of the three. And Bauer's been kind of trending downwards, and he's had problems with walks and home runs before. So I don't mind, obviously looking at the Twins. For me, they're not a cash game team. They are a bit more expensive here on DraftKings in consideration of FanDuel, but obviously they are certainly in play. We know that upside and power they have.
Yep, absolutely in play. And I mean, the word's kind of out after 2 straight days of this, so I don't think you're going to get quite the advantage you had the last 2 days, but still decent contrarian move.
Yeah, definitely. And on the Cleveland side, obviously the lefties against Duffy are in an average matchup, and given the fact that there is some success on the Cleveland side, there's always that potential. For me, I still think they're a bit overpriced on DraftKings. I like them more so on FanDuel. But I can still definitely get on board with a one-off or maybe pairing a Kipnis and Santana or a Kipnis and Napoli.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I like that. I quite like that, sir. I quite like that. I don't like Jose Ramirez and Lana Chisenhall, though. That's
Jose Ramirez at 4.7. What the hell happened?
I don't know. I don't like that whatsoever. But I do like Napoli. Huh?
Chisenhall's getting up in price a little bit here on DraftKings.
Yeah. And Rajay Davis batting 7th, and Naquin batting 8th and 4,900.
Yeah, I mean, it's
a little extreme, man.
I mean, pretty close. I mean, it's going to be $5K for all these damn bats on here. I mean, it's looking that way soon.
It really is, which, I mean, it's sort of well-deserved, but at the same time, it's like, all right, chill out. Just relax.
Definitely in play. They're cash and GPP viable.
Stressing me out over here. Yeah.
Cardinals and Reds, Michael Walker versus Cody Reed. Stephen Piscotty, a little bit more expensive, but I definitely like him if I'm paying up on DraftKings for an outfielder. He crushes lefties, great ballpark. You look at Cody Reed, 409 WOBA to righties this year, 2.79 homers per nine. Obviously in a small sample size, but definitely a good spot for Piscotty.
Piscotty and cash, that seems pretty straightforward to me. Matt Holiday also in play. I like that quite a bit. The rest of this lineup, I don't necessarily see the upside. I might be okay with the Yadier Molina as a catcher option, but overall, I'm not too impressed, even if they are projected for around 5 runs.
I don't mind Brandon Moss. I still think there's a decent amount of lefty power for him. He's handled lefties pretty well in the past. I don't mind him, but I'm with you. I mean, guys like, in the back end, I mean, Peralta really hasn't been that great. Obviously, there's a decent track record there. But given the fact that Reed's just allowed a ton of home runs, I'm still in on a Cardinals stack. I'm still in on a lot of one-offs. Kind of curious to see what that lineup comes out to be, just because it really has been shaken up quite a bit here over the last couple of weeks.
Definitely.
As far as the Reds prices go, I'm not on board at all. I really don't like them here. I liked him a little bit on FanDuel, but it was more so just Adam Duvall. I just can't pay $5K for a Votto or 4.6 for a Hamilton. Duvall, given the same price as nearly as Piscotty, I'll just kind of lean other ways.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you on that. Although there's a shred of doubt in all these types of statements now after Max Kepler put me in a body bag. So
you're
I
a little
definitely
hesitant on saying someone's overpriced now. Like, you're shaking.
Yeah.
It's like you went out.
Shook.
You went out for the first inning and gave up 2 solo homers, and now you're pissing yourself on the mound after in the second. Like,
I had some good stuff, and I started just doing the Rick Ankiel, and I don't know. We'll see if I can reel it in here. No, I don't like this. I don't like this matchup at all. But at the same time, who knows? Maybe they'll trade for Max and maybe 6 homers in that. You know what I'm saying?
Let's move on. So we can get away from
Kepler.
Kepler.
Out of the red. Get away from the red. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Blue Jays and Astros here next. Colin McHugh versus Marco Estrada. Jose Bautista still at a really friendly price here. Even Encarnacion's not that bad. I don't mind these guys. Donaldson's still a little up there for me. I do want that price tag to come down. But I do think if an expensive stack, but I do think 1 through 4 is certainly in play as a stack and as a one-off potential.
Yeah, and Russell Martin's kind of gotten it going lately. 6 hits in his last 5 games here. Yeah, so that's pretty good. Been hitting with some power of late. I kind of like that. So as sort of the 6th guy in that lineup, I don't mind that to sort of average out some of the Donaldsons of the world. But like you mentioned, Bautista, pretty cheap price there. So, I mean, I'm not necessarily targeting McHugh, but with this lineup, I think there's always potential. I don't think they're going to be that high owned of a stack.
No, I don't think so either. And I mean, well, yes and no. I think maybe McHugh's last start might be an indicator of maybe we get a little bit more on the Blue Jays stack bandwagon. But, McHugh, I mean, pretty average against righties, 3.34 WOBA going back to last year. In that ballpark, certainly a lot of upside.
All right, let's go through it then. All right, Donaldson ownership percentage. Over under 15%.
I'll say right about that. I'll say 10 to 15.
Bautista probably over 20. I don't see Encarnacion being that high.
I'll give Donaldson Encarnacion probably about 15%. Bautista maybe around that 20. I don't see either of these guys or any of the 3 over, any of the 4 really over 20%.
So that's getting a little chalky if that's what you see. I might see a little less for Encarnacion, but either way, not like a normal Blue Jay stack night, I guess.
Yeah, I think people are obviously probably sick of stacking the Blue Jays, to be honest.
I'm gonna just start. Okay, I'm gonna start sucking on this glass here, and I'm just gonna get it stuck to my face.
We'll check back on Russ in a minute. As far as the Astros go, a little too expensive for me in a tough matchup against Estrada. While I do think Estrada is kind of overachieved this year, I'm not really in on picking on him here. I think he's a decent tournament option. And at these prices, I can't get behind an Altuve at 5.6 or a Correa at 4.9. Just a little too up there for me.
Yeah, too expensive. Altuve, not really something I'm looking to pay 5.6 for, even in a decent matchup. So overall, I mean, I think you could go with a Kobe Rasmus at 3 and feel okay, but other than that, I'm not too comfortable with paying up for Astros.
No, definitely not. I mean, a lot of boomer bust targets here. So if I was taking anyone, it would probably be guys in the latter half of the lineup who are really dirt cheap.
Right.
Dodgers and Rockies next here, and we can talk about um, the bats against Tyler Anderson. It's not that great of a spot for the Dodgers as far as going up against lefties because they haven't been that good. But obviously, Coors is going to give them a bump, and obviously, some of these guys should be taking a look at. Scott Van Slyke, an intriguing kind of platoon option at 4K, decent value for a guy with some power, facing a lefty that's been pretty good this year.
Yeah. So if Tyler Duffy and Chase Anderson had a baby, what do you think they'd name it?
I don't know, Russell.
Tyler Anderson. Yeah, no. These guys are overpriced to me. I'm not really looking at most of this lineup. As you mentioned, Van Slyke at 4 is solid. Justin Turner, though, 5-1. I'm okay with that, as well as Seager. I think it's okay to pay up for them if you really want to go that route.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just kind of sort of a maybe if I'm making 10 lineups, maybe I put one with Dodgers in it. But overall, I'm not really that intrigued. I'm more so intrigued with the Rockies side, who draw a little bit of a better matchup as far as the lefty righties go. And obviously, Arenado hits righties well. The David Dahl price tag is very nice here for kind of a punt option with some power and cores. Good minor league player, so I don't mind kind of the 4 bats there.
Yeah, no, he's a nice price. I'm even okay with a Descalso, but really, really looking to get the value in these bats, I guess, for this core slate. Just kind of coming up mediocre to me.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm not really intrigued with it. And Coors really hasn't been that animal that you kind of really focus on this year. I mean, especially over the last maybe 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Yeah,
kind of
I agree. It's weird.
Yeah, it definitely
It's
is.
weird. Yeah,
A's
it's
and
weird.
Angels next year, Jared Weaver, Kendall Graveman, and here Stephen Vogt 3-3, intriguing option, just given the fact that Weaver isn't that great against lefties.
Hmm. Hmm.
Are you okay over there?
I wanted to say you're not very good against lefties, but I didn't. Yeah, no, you definitely like Vot here, batting third. As I mentioned on FanDuel, I'm okay with a Chris Davis with the home run upside against a Jared Weaver. Weaver's really home run prone against both sides of the plate, so you do like that. There is more upside than normal because it is Weaver, but overall, without Josh Reddick, they really lose a lot of their right-handed anything. They were already bad against righties, so that what?
Yeah, I mean, well, Reddick's a lefty, but I know what you mean.
Against righties.
Oh, yeah, I get what you're saying. All right, sorry, I misunderstood you.
Yeah, you did. No, guys, listen to what just happened. I was breaking down the matchup here, saying how Josh Reddick is really one of their main weapons against righties. I turned to the camera, and look who's shaking his head in disgust.
I thought
Like
you
a
said
savage.
he was righty for some reason. I'm sorry. No. I don't know. We'll go back and roll the tape. So I'll go under the hood like in an NFL playoff game. We'll take a look and see what happened. But they do. There is a lot of loss here.
Anyway, Yonder Alonso, 2,700, sure. But overall, not too excited with the ace.
No, I mean, and I'm not really excited with the Angels either. Kendall Graveman's been somewhat serviceable of late. Also been pretty solid against the Angels in a couple starts this year. As you know, Trout enters in Coors outfielder territory, as he enters in Jay Bruce territory. I'm kind of just staying away from Trout. Obviously, there's always upside, but I don't know. I like taking guys in better ballparks and better matchups at that price.
Yeah, 51's a lot. I'm agreed.
Yeah. And I'm just not a big fan of the other guys. I mean, there's not a lot of fancy production out of the Angels.
Other than Jet Bandy.
Yeah, Jet Bandy's
an absolute savage.
He's a world-class hero, I mean, to be honest.
And we are being facetious right now, but at the same time, he's been doing pretty well lately. So someone to keep an eye on.
Definitely. 2-run homer against lefty on Tuesday. I mean, I'll give Bandy a shot against lefties.
Yep.
No lefty here though.
No, no,
Uh,
that's fine.
Red Sox and Mariners. Rick Porcello versus Hisashi Iwakuma. You got to probably like these Seattle prices a little bit better here, right?
Yes, much better. Definitely like Cano, definitely like Seager, and even the front guys. But at the same time, like they're still just tournament guys because it is Porcello. So even no matter how good the prices are, you're still kind of worried about them getting shut down. Not projected for a particularly appealing number at 4 runs. So it's solid. I like Cano Seager. I'm definitely going to be throwing one of those out there, but might not get too much of the rest of the lineup involved.
Yeah, and I mean, you're definitely a little bit more on Seattle than I am. I definitely do like the prices a little bit more here. If I was taking a shot with Seattle, it would definitely be more of a DraftKings move for me. As far as the Red Sox go, I'm not really in love with the price tags, and it's kind of easy for me to stay away. Um, I really just can't get behind a lot of these prices. I mean, Jackie Bradley Jr. at 4.3 is somewhat intriguing, given that's a drop down from his usual standards. But I don't know. I'm not intrigued with the back end guys either.
Yeah, it's just super expensive. I mean, we'll see where Brock Holt sort of hits in the lineup. I kind of don't mind that at 29. But at the same time, it's kind of tough to pay up for all these guys, especially a Mookie Betts or Xander, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I just think the value for this team is just not really that appealing anymore. It's kind of lost a little bit of traction given there's not a lot to balance it out within the team.
Right.
So that's going to wrap things up with the DK Daily Trot. Be sure to check out DailyFantasyCafe.com for all the great tools and comments.